Good afternoon. How is everybody doing? 24 minutes late because we were debating on if we are going to come back. It's been almost 4 weeks now we didn't come on here because too much has been going on since my cousin passed away. So if you're finding me for the first time, my name is Penny and welcome to my page. Please share this video. If you're my returning fan, thank you again for tuning in, and thank you for trusting in me to encourage you, to inspire you, and to educate you where I can. So when you come in, please do me a favor, share this video and invite your friends, because we thank God for social media. We are able to interact with regular people. We are not like a TV channel. We are not, being influenced. So we can talk freely and share amongst each other without judgment. So share this video, invite your friends, and let us talk. So Abu is watching the game. He said he's not going to skip the game with Senegal and I don't know which other country. Abu.
Yeah.
Who's Senegal playing?
England.
Senegal is playing England. So Abu chose the game over the show. And I told him since it's been weeks, I didn't come on here. I needed to come and catch on. So today we want to talk about domestic violence, and if you give me a minute, I will get back to tell you why I want to talk about domestic violence today. Although that was not what we had planned to talk about, but I want to talk about domestic violence because Abu has gone to watch the game, and I think I can do this by myself. And with anybody who is here, we can all learn from each other. Where is this other group? I'm sharing, and you can do the same for me. I think I'll leave it there. So today we want to talk about domestic violence. And I want to talk about domestic violence today because yesterday I learned that one of my customers, who is an online customer, she's Kenyan, was killed in suicide, I guess. The husband killed her and the 2 children. It's the saddest story. I have been talking to this customer of mine, and she had told me that she lives in a place where there's not many Kenyans, and every time I had things from Kenya, she wanted to buy these things because she didn't have other Kenyans like in the area to share things with her, like Roiko. And of course, I don't know her personally, but we are still waiting to get information. And I thought today we should talk about domestic violence. And I'm not a counselor, I'm not a therapist, but I'm just a regular person that has experienced some kind of violence, not necessarily domestic, like meaning in my house, but I have experienced abuse from family members, which is verbal, and I had to fight. I had to fight not to feel what I was going through at the time. I always come up here and I'm always very open to share my story. I don't see anything wrong with me sharing my story, but I find it so sad that a lot of people are living with people who are abusing them, and they are not willing to talk about the abuse, and then eventually some of them are killed. Some of them, yesterday I saw a post by a lady, Wairimu. She has a Facebook page. She said that this woman, somebody posted that her husband had slapped her 6 times. They have a 4-year-old, and they've been married for a couple years. We don't even know what's the possible cause, but we don't even have information about her. So when we get the information, we will share, because we were all asking all kinds of questions, like what could have been, what could have been done any different than what happened. Anyway, so when we go through these things, we don't want people to know. We want to act like everything is okay. And sometimes the abuse is not just physical, like somebody's hitting you. There's all kinds of abuse. And when I speak about my abuse, that I feel like I was being abused, it's verbal. And this verbal abuse can just give you all the symptoms that somebody who's being hit gives you. So if we talk about violence, we are talking about there's physical violence, there's sexual violence, there's abuse that can be, you're being neglected. You live with someone in the house, they don't even want to talk to you, they are less interested. There is verbal abuse. That's what most, like, I experienced from my father to my mom. My dad used to say some demeaning things to my mom, and then my mom would not respond. So that was verbal abuse. He never hit my mother, but the things that were said, which was normalized, it was abuse that was normalized. Nobody thought like it was anything. Although I used to be concerned at a young age, I used to correct him. I'm like, Dad, why would you say things like that? But when I'm looking back, that was a normal way of life, where somebody thinks that they can just tell you you're stupid, or they can tell you you can never amount to anything. Even it wasn't just even done to the wives, it was done to the children. There is economical, financial abuse, where somebody is taking all your money and you don't have access to your finances. He doesn't allow you, or she doesn't allow you to do whatever you want to do with your money. So when you earn, that money is taken. And it's not just women who only go through domestic violence. Even men go through violence. When we look at domestic violence, or some of the things that we talk about as violence, some of it was normalized. So we don't think it is something. Okay, we are taking it lightly, where somebody is telling you like, like things like my mom used to call me, you donkey. I'm like, why would she call me a donkey? You pig. Like back when we were growing up, there was so much that was said to us. Sometimes we didn't like it, and some of the children internalized that, and some accepted it and normalized it. So when they're going into the next relationship, they carry these things thinking that these things are normal, when these things are not normal. So there's mental illness. For those of you who don't believe, mental illness is real. There is no way someone is going to take a gun and kill everybody in the family. And you know that happened to this Kenyan lady in Kentucky. This morning again, there was another white man. He didn't kill himself. He killed his wife, and he killed 2 children. Yeah. Oh, by the way, we are camouflaging.
By the way, Senegal is losing, and I'm already pissed off.
Yeah, but I told you, come, we do the show, and you said no, and I respected that.
Yes. Yeah. Senegal, please.
Guys,
anyway,
we are selling this, by the way. Or they are.
I know it's about
domestic violence.
Oh, domestic violence. That's a very touchy topic, and it's very important.
Yeah, go do same.
And once, if you're wearing the same, you can't even hit the other one, because you don't know if you're hitting yourself. So to prevent domestic violence, wear the same.
No, but you know, Abu, I'm going to talk about something that maybe you can touch on real quick. When you look at the past, I said today that I have several disorders. And I was going to talk about anger issues, and I have attention deficit disorder, which you don't...
ADD.
Yeah, ADHD, and dyslexia, where a word looks backwards if you look at it.
Yeah, I even have ADD, but I think
ADHD. Yeah. So as I was thinking about my friend yesterday, I was thinking about myself.
Oh, the one from Kentucky?
Yes, I was thinking about myself, and I grew up where physical violence was normal, like to fight, like getting into a fight quickly. If you're disagreeing, you hit someone, and that's how to solve. My father didn't hit my mom, but personally, I'm quick to get angry. Like, I've had anger issues. You know, I get mad and I go to extreme. Yeah. If I had not met you to just look at me and then I calm down, maybe you could have been beating me by now, because I just get angry, and I just get so angry, then I become irrational.
Yeah.
And with time, I've been able to manage it, because you understood that you know, when I get mad, I just get mad. So I learned to stop before I could. Before you go
to the extreme.
Which I do.
Yeah, but I think, you know, forget about extreme. I think just anybody who's physical becomes violent is already violent by nature.
Yeah.
You know, remember when we were growing up, there were kids who were just rough.
Me.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're just violent by nature.
They just fight. Yeah.
So it's easy for them to go over the edge.
Yeah.
Even in their relationships, to go over the edge and become violent.
Yeah.
And I think by the time you're hitting someone, yes, there's provocation, but that's just a person who doesn't know how to manage or how to confront whatever
conflict resolution.
Yes. Yeah. So to them, the resolution is fighting.
Yeah.
So if you know,
but I was socialized that way. Me, I'm thinking, okay, later I just beat you. You know, like
if you can manage, if you can figure out how to resolve issues without violence, which is. Even countries fight. Yeah. They go to the negotiating table
until they bring gun.
Right now there is Russia and Ukraine. I'm sure they went to the table. They talked, and then there was no resolution. Yeah. So after that, the only thing left is violence. Yeah. So I think these are people who get to that point where they can't control. Okay, and that's a very important thing that, especially for men, because we are the stronger sex, and if we start fighting. Even if you're the one who's starting, when I hit back, the man is probably going to cause more injury to the woman.
I held you just for you to testify that I have anger issues that I've managed.
Yes.
Okay.
See you later.
Okay. So let's go back to what we were talking. Yes, the man that killed the Kenyan lady is an African American. He's not Kenyan. And I was saying that I just wanted Abu to throw that in, because you have to come into terms and say, you know, you have things that you're dealing with. Sometimes even conflict resolution is a big issue in marriages, you know. So there's mental illness where someone cannot think. Mental illness is a disease like any other disease. It's like diabetes, it's like blood pressure, it's like having a wound. We need to start looking at mental illness like something that you need medicine for, and there's medicine for that. There's bipolar. Some of the other issues that contribute to domestic violence is poverty. People who are poor of finances and poor of the mind are likely to start getting violent out of frustration. You understand? So when you have poverty of the mind and when you have poverty of finances, you are likely to get into these problems. People fight about money. A lot of couples fight about money. And you know, when you're knowledgeable, which that's what I credit my father learned at an early age that physical abuse was not okay through reading. But he didn't know deeper that verbal abuse or putting somebody down was bad. So we have to understand that, because they did not have that knowledge. Lack of education, because you are not knowledgeable. So you hit someone thinking that you know what, you're going to solve that problem. Okay? Yes. So then the other thing is, people who, I've seen this, people who start dating, then quickly become parents. If you all of a sudden you're pregnant, you didn't tell the man you're becoming pregnant. You didn't tell the woman you're going to impregnate them. When people suddenly become parents and they are not prepared psychologically and they are young, it is very easy to fight. And that's why for me, who was aware, I waited to have children when I was ready to have children. I was 26 years old. But I can't imagine someone who's 19, someone who's 16. When you have children when you're young, or when you become a parent when you're young, your mind is not fully developed. You will find that you're going to fight about the children. You're going to fight about finances. You're going to fight about little things. Who's waking up? Who's feeding the baby? But when you wait to have children, you are more intentional and you are more relaxed. You're not going to fight over some things because you understand that you got yourself in that situation. There's cultural differences, you know. Where I was talking to another friend of mine who had hit the wife, and he's my friend. The wife called me. When I called her And you know, she explained to me what happened. When I called him back, I said, why did you slap her? And you've slapped her more than one time. He told me that I just gave her 2-3 slaps. Cultural differences. Where we come from, a culture where he says his grandmother was being beaten, his mother was being beaten. He thinks it's okay to slap his wife. And he's saying, I just slap her 2 to 3 slaps. He thinks it is okay to slap his wife. And you know, that's how come our kissing men are in jail, because when the police come, they are not even trying to deny that they didn't hit, to lie. No. They say, I just hit her once or twice. In America, hitting someone is a crime. In Kenya, they kind of like normalize it. Now they're talking about it because people are getting killed. But because of culture, we kind of like allow, or we think we normalize abuse when it's not okay. All right? Some people do the violence because they want to prevent themselves from something. They're protecting themselves. They think you're using you're using violence to protect yourself. So if you're using violence to protect yourself, that is violence. You are saying, oh, she did this, so I did that. She did that. So you're trying to tell people, you're justifying why you're abusing somebody. And you know what? Violence still remains to be violence. Okay? It doesn't matter how you're doing it. When you're doing you're abusing somebody verbally, when you're hitting someone, when you're calling somebody names, when you're taking your spouse's money, when you're doing all these things, violence is violence. Or you have taken your spouse, which I have seen. You have taken your spouse and you've moved far, far away from everybody. You don't want people to interact with your wife. You don't want people to interact with your husband. I have witnessed people that I know very well because I've lived here for 30 years now. I have witnessed friends of mine, male friends, that we were good friends until they got married. Once the wife came into the community, she did not want that man out with other friends. She has to find a place and move far away where he doesn't have access to his friends. And I'm saying he and she, to know that it's not just men who are abusing women. Some women are very abusive. They don't want his friends in the house. They don't want him to go anywhere when everybody's going somewhere. These women are super controlling. So when that happens, somebody finds themselves either now just depressed in the house, or start taking medication, or you know, they just start feeling some kind of way. Before you know it, somebody is mentally not stable because they've been isolated by someone. Now, when people are being abused, they don't like to talk about it because there is cultural, can I even say the right word? Culturally, we are supposed to hide our problems. If I can speak for the Africans. According to my mom, I should not tell anybody that Abu is hitting me. According to my mom, nobody should find out that my husband, you know, is calling me names. According to my mom, anything that happens in here that is not good, that is violence, should stay here. You can't go, they say, you can't just keep telling people about your husband. You can't just keep telling people about your children. Some of you, it's not, the abuse is not even your spouse. The abuse is coming from your children. So when you're telling somebody and you're telling them that my daughter did this ABCD, according to my mom, because that's culturally, we are not supposed to be exposing our children. So what do? We hide everything because, according to my mom, nobody should know your business but yourself. And then you know what? You live with these things, eventually you explode. Or sometimes you're thinking, she's telling me, my mom is telling me, oh, if you expose your husband, now people are going to know, people are not going to respect him. Or if you expose your wife, people are going to know, actually, oh, sir, James is really abused. People are going to gossip. So we are actually living on fear, like pins and needles. We don't want anybody to know that our spouses are abusing us. We don't want anybody to know that our children are abusing us. We don't want anybody to know that our husband have told us that, oh, if you leave me, I will finish you. Or if you tell anybody, I'll finish you. We don't want people. We are in a culture where we live for other people, not just Africans, even Americans. They'll tell you something, and by the time they finish, they'll tell you between me and you. domestic violence is just everywhere around the world. And you know, the saddest part is, like, however much awareness we are creating, people continue getting killed every day. The case that I just saw right now, the old man that killed the wife and the children are like in, the boy is 38 and the son is 42. These are old people, and he's in his late, I think, 70 something or 80 something. Old people. So he must have called them, or he must have waited for them to come as they are together. He went into the bedroom and probably took a gun and killed everybody and killed himself. Oh, no, the man didn't kill himself. He's there. He's going to go to jail. He's an old man, all gray. What can explain that? There is no way to explain that. If you're married to someone and they're threatening you, take it seriously. If you're married to someone and they keep saying all these negative things, take it seriously. Okay? If you have siblings that are always saying things to you, negative things, take it seriously, because abuse has been there from Cain and Abel. Right? One kill the other one. A brother can kill a brother. A sister can kill a sister. When your family member starts threatening you, take it seriously. And take a stand. Make a decision where you want to go with that. In my case, when my brother, my mom's child, my blood brother, started verbally abusing me, and this happened since I came to America. Since I came to America was 1993, is when I started taking verbal abuse from my brother. I have bad letters that my brother wrote to me. Literally bad letters. And I kept each one of them. I have the memories of everything that my brother said to me. And I could never understand, because I didn't grow up with him. He came here when I was young. I could never understand why someone could just say things like that to me. And then he would type, right, a letter and give me the letter, give me a copy. I have an email where he has just said the worst things sent to me. That is like so strange. And you know, I put up with that for so long. I used to, because my mom would tell me, oh, you know that your older brother, just respect him. My friend, Cain and Abel were brothers. Yeah? I took that violence when I first came. There's a time I felt like I wanted to kill myself. The one time he was telling me, oh, you're a prostitute. You used to do prostitution in Kenya. You can't come to America. America, here in New Jersey, prostitution is illegal. Oh, you think you can come here and be a prostitute, yeah? And you know, you're being told that, and you've not even dated. I just finished high school and I came here. Your own brother is calling you a prostitute. Oh, prostitution can no longer be here, huh? And then he would get drunk some weekends and make me sit there, and he'll tell me the most mean things. And I always say this story because you know what? This is someone who is supposed to be, the age difference is like 17 years. He's supposed to be comforting to me, encouraging me, helping me. I came here on a student visa. And he used to make all these threats. I'm going to deport you. I mean, this was so unreal coming from a sibling. And then when he told me he's going to petition for me, or don't look for your papers, I'll petition. He put the petition for me. I can never forget this story. It's every day I remember this story. It was so hurtful. As much as I left it, that was violence of the highest degree. When I was ready to go for that interview after 10 years, he refused to sign my green card. Just because I was non-compliant. I always have to share that story. Because you know what? It's so real. That coming from a sibling was so painful. And over the years, my mom kept telling me, just let it go. Just let it go. Let it go. I let it go. I have bad letters, which I plan to put in my book. I want my grandchildren to know that your siblings can abuse you. Bad letters. And that was the most difficult time of my life in this country. Almost two years until I finished school and moved out. I gained my freedom when I moved out to my own place. But that never ended. Continued until this year again. I'm in Jamaica. He called me and cussed me out on the phone. So it reminded me I'm a useless person. I mean nothing. I'm married. I should mind my business. My brother went off on me. And I tried to redirect him. Nothing. That is verbal abuse from a sibling. I went off topic. But I want people to know that that's violence. It doesn't have to come from your spouse. It doesn't have to come from only your child, your co-worker, your friends. People find a way to go through you to put you down. Remember, these people are looking for a way to put you down. What is their motivation? Sometimes you can't even understand why. What is the motivation behind this? Why would an older brother be calling you to curse you out and tell you you're such a useless person? You are nobody. And that's after they've denied to give you the green card for after 14 years I've been waiting. And they still call you now, 2022, to tell you you're such a useless person. What is that? Kwa kina dem ni, I don't know. Her name is Kikuyu, but I don't know where her home is. I used to have a few people that I used to share these stories with because it was hard. I used to call my sisters then in Kenya. My sisters were not here. I would call my sisters and tell them what I was going through here. It went on for years, and up to now, I'm telling you. So tell someone. I did tell someone. And you know, now when you go to a place that I could not get through with my papers, I had spoken to my younger sister, and she told me, you don't have to suffer in America. Just pack the kids with your husband, come home. Why do you continue to suffer? If he has refused to sign the papers for you, just come home. And she told me, oh, you know, life here, I'm making it. You'll make it. It's not hard. My sisters, four of my sisters were in Kenya. My sisters kept telling me that, you know what, just come home. You don't have to be there. My father died. I could not go to the funeral. Because now this man had held me hostage. Because I was non-compliant. Abuse will lead you into depression. Abuse will lead you to have anxiety. Abuse will turn you to be... You see who I am today? I have zero emotions. Because all my suffering in this America came through my siblings in the beginning. I don't feel anything. So let me move to the next notes that I have. I found this while I was reading online about violence, and I thought I should share because my journey has been painful one, but it was not from a spouse. I went with the immigration and I was given the green card by God's grace, and I told them the story. I'm here as a living testimony. Abuse from a sibling, not a spouse. And this abuse comes from the spouse. Most of the time it comes from the spouses because you live together. I have said this story on Facebook so many times. The last time I told the women and even the men, I said, if somebody is holding you hostage for green card, inbox me, I'll give you the number for the lawyer to help you. Weeks later, like 2 weeks later, another Kenyan man called me and told me to stop the rubbish. He was so angry. He told me, why are you giving people options on Facebook? Do you know what it means to bring somebody here and they run away? In this case, my brother is the one who found me the I-20. But did it mean when I got here, I needed to do everything he wanted me to do? No. There are things he wanted me to do and I didn't want to do. I said no. Because I had a mind of my own. I had my own family. There are things he's going to ask me to do and I'll say no because I'm not a child. So this guy, I redirected him. I said, I share my story because you know what? It is something that I went through and I know the pain. I have to share. I cannot, that is not a story to hide. That my brother refused to sign my green card for me as a petition after 10 years. That is not a secret. And he was holding it because he wanted everything he said I had to do. And every time he told me to do something and I said I'm not doing, he'll threaten me and tell me, wait, your time to sign that green card is coming. I will not sign it. And you know me, with my mouth, I'll tell him, just don't sign it. So let me read this article that I saw. Abusers are victims. And starting with my brother, I learned, and I later learned, that growing up, he went through things I didn't go through. So when I look at him, there are things that he's going through. So an abuser is also a victim. It is not his doing. It is something that happened to him that he has never healed. Okay? So because he has never healed, he's carrying it on to me. And he will never stop. Men who are abusers and women who are abusers emotionally, physically, sexually, most of them happen to be victims. Okay? Women naturally are nurturers. They rarely abuse men. But if you find that women who are abusers, if you look back in their history, they were abused, because only abused people can abuse others. Okay? Number 2, men and women who have a history of abuse, that is me now. If I wasn't aware as I'm aware, as I've told you, I could be abusive too to other people, or I am abusive to other people because I'm numb. I've been abused until I'm maxed out. So when you meet someone, for you who are dating, okay, if they abuse most of the time, which I think in this case happened between the birth and 19 or and 18, that wound stays there. So before you go to get yourself in a relationship, look at the history of the person that you're starting a relationship with, because these people are carrying pain from the past. Number 3, men and women who were raised in abusive homes and neglected and abandoned and rejected are most likely to end up in abusive relationships as abusers or as being abused. And because they saw their parents go through it, they think that is normal because it was normalized when they were children. So now when it's happening to them, it's not a big deal. If your mom used to be hit, now you're being hit and you think it is okay. Number 4, the reason why it is hard to live an abusive relationships, it's because of the family. What is the family going to say? What about the community? Okay? Our community is quick to judge people who are divorced. Our community is quick to come after you and tell you that you just don't walk out of marriage. It rains everywhere. You have to stay through. So your community will make you to stay in a relationship. They don't listen to the victims, especially when the victims come out to tell them things that people can't believe are being done to them. Like when I tell you that my brother refused to sign my green card after 10 years, that is something you don't want to believe in this America of Trump. And it is true. And now a lot of people will call me and tell me, don't talk about your brother like that. It happened. The society doesn't want us to talk about it. Most people don't have an outlet to go to, so they keep it to themselves. The reason why some of these people are in these relationships, it is because they are thinking if they leave, they will never find somebody else. Okay? They think that, you know what, if now I leave John, what's going to happen? If I leave Mary, what's going to happen? You're thinking there's nobody out there for you. Okay? The victims always think that the abuser is going to change. So my story again, when the first time, like I really experienced the abuse from my brother, he was drunk. So for a minute, because I'd never had that kind of abuse, and my mom and dad never drank. I've never seen a drunk person like that, a family member. The first time he did it, I gave him a pass with alcohol. I'm like, hey, where did he tell me all those things? I didn't know that that's who he was. I didn't know that that was going to continue. So I looked at him, I'm like, hiya, what did he just say? He says all kinds of bad things. And then I'm like, ooh. I was totally shocked. And then, when I first came, they used to give me $10. Family members used to give me $10 every week for allowance. So I had $50 from all of them. The second time that kind of feeling of me being verbally abused happened, he was drunk. He called me and he told me to account for the $50. You know, already I had a problem identifying cash. I didn't know, like $2.99, $1.99. That money thing was like hard on me. And you know, because I'm slow like that, I just didn't get it. $2.99. So his picture, somebody has called you, Penina, Juga, Karasaga, Haya. Me, I'm like, Haya. Me, I thought these things ended in Kenya where the parents threatened. Then he told me, I want you to tell me the $50 that we give you, account for each dollar. Huh? Me, I was like, hiya. I said, I can't remember. I've always had a bad memory. I said, I can't remember. He told me that's nonsense. You cannot tell me you cannot remember money that you did not work for, money that was given to you. You have to account for the money. Hey, you think this is Kenya where you are just going to be getting free things? You think? He went on and on. I sat there and listened in disbelief. I was supposed to account for $50. The reason I make that point, it is because I was hoping that my brother was going to change. So we stay in abusive relationships because I was thinking like, oh, this is going to come to an end. Because now, what is this? So I thought, once I start getting my own money, he wasn't going to ask me to account for my own money. So we think the person who's abusing you is going to change. So I got my own money. I got my own independence, meaning now I'm working. And then they told me to put my own phone. Because my other brother had a line. They told me, put your own line. So I called the phone company to come and give me a line. They gave me a line. So now I'm living with my other brother. And then another time, he came. I'd exchanged numbers. Now I have my own number. I'd exchanged numbers with my other girl that I was going to school with. Her name was Tawana Dietrich. I don't know where she went. You know, you're trying to make American friends. You are new. You're like 19 years old. So then my phone rang. He was at my brother's house. He was so offended that the phone rang at 9. He came after me again. He's like, why is your phone ringing? At this time, you're already starting your prostitution? The phone was ringing at 9. Tawana, I'm sure now that I look back, she was probably all charged up. She was looking for me. Let's go hang out or something. They don't know I'm like in a prison. So he went off again. So I'm saying that to speak that I thought this verbal abuse was going to come to an end. But it did not. It continued like that, I'm telling you, to 30 years later. So we stay thinking that this person is going to to change. Okay? These abusers are the most charming people. Yes, again, when all this happened, when my brother was in a good mood, he would call me. In Kisi, when you're calling your sister, you call them Umuswati. When he was sober, he was the most charming person. Oh, Muswati, how you doing? After the abuse, oh, he'll be so nice. So most abusers are very charming. They are very like pleasant people. They will win you with being pleasant, you know. So he's like, oh, Muswati, you're doing good. I'm so proud of you. Like when he's well and good, and he would tell me, because I used to work at night and come home and take a nap and run to school. I was doing like so much. When I look back, I was doing so much for myself, and he would give me credit. So there's a time he used to like encourage me. So, and I could remember growing up, because when he came to America, I was like 4. He would praise me. So he would make me feel like I really am getting accomplished. Remember, I don't know anybody. These are the only people I know, my brothers. And now, the same person who's been motivating me is staring me now. So, when they are good, when they're in a good mood, they will cheer you up. Okay? They will cheer you up to make sure you feel accomplished, to make sure you feel good about yourself before they come back to attack again. Yes, Rachel, I give this story, Oraro, I give this story because this is something I lived and I know how abusers work. Okay? Now, the other thing is, with time, another incident that I had that I remember well, when they talk about the victim has the same experience of abuse that they are giving you. There's a time, it was me, my other brother and my mom, we were talking. So I want you to know that the experience of my brother, of my father, and the experience of me and my father are two different experiences because he grew up, he was the firstborn, and I'm not like number 7. So we were talking, and then these children keep passing. And then I had good thoughts about my father. So it was like a Friday night, and we were all talking about Dad and the things that used to happen. I didn't know I was making a mistake to say how my father was such a great person. You know how most of you who know me know I love my dad. Oh, I said, hey, my dad was great. When I look back, now I had lived for some time. I think I had finished a year or some time. I had come to a point I had realized that my father was everything. I'm like, wow, he's the one who brought you guys to America. I was like thinking this guy is a great guy. So I made these comments, and I'm making this to make a point. I made reference of how my father was great, and he was, my goodness, the most amazing person. And he jumped on me and he said, you don't know him. You don't know that man. Now you're here. And to my brother, being in America was the greatest achievement you can ever have. He said, you don't know him. Then he started telling me some of the things that he had experienced with my father. So everything he told me that apparently, well, according to him, that my father did, those ones of putting you down, because back in the day, our parents used negative reinforcement to make you work harder. So all the things that were said to him, he was repeating them to me. So now I put 2 and 2 together. I said, you mean Dad was like this? And possibly he was, because you know the first child and the last child. So what they are saying here, okay, the abuser is using things that were done to him. He's repeating, because when these things were done to them, they suffered a low self-esteem. Their confidence was taken away from them. And they have issues of abandonment and rejection and abuse. All the above, he had those things. Yeah? The difference is here now. This person is carrying them on to the next person, who was me. In fact, I got the whole spiel. Because yes, when I look back and now I'm thinking about it as I'm raising adult children, there are things my oldest son experienced that my last son has not experienced. The mother I was to my first son, I'm not the same mother to my last son. Because times change, you're older. By the time I was growing up, my father had changed. He had become more mellow. He had more money. We had a good life. My father was it. I'm number 18 out of 21. So tell me, what did the older children experience? I use my brother because I know what violence is coming from a sibling. I can't imagine being married to someone like that, and you can, and some of you are. Okay? Now, empowerment and knowledge is going to help you come out of those situations. Having knowledge of the childhood traumas, having knowledge of rejection, having knowledge of abandonment, having knowledge of abuse, things that you went through as a child, when you do the self-awareness, is going to help you so you do not continue the same abuse that was done to you, because the abusers are thinking that whatever they are doing is normal. It is not easy to come out of these relationships, because for my case, I'm tied to my brother because we share a mother and we share a father. For you, you are tied to your husband or your wife because you have children together. But let me ask you, how could have I put up with this relationship of my brother for 30 years? For 30 years, the same abuse, the same feeling, the same emotions. This year, it took me, how many years? 30 years. Actually, I should say 29 years because I did it. I blocked him April 10th of 2021 to literally go to my brother's contact and block him. Why did it take me that long? And I want you to know, over time, another time we had a conflict when my father was here. He threatened on the phone. He told me that he'll come and beat me up. So you see again, can you imagine if I was his spouse? Can you imagine if I was his child? Why all this anger? This is what people are going through. Okay? This is just a few things that I can tell you that I've learned over time about domestic violence. And let me tell you, yesterday, I think, was it yesterday or a couple days ago, I was listening to a podcast. I think I took notes about self-love. Self-love is not ABCD. Self-love takes a lot. It's a lot of work. You have to decide what you want for you. You have to decide what is good for you. Your self-esteem, how you feel about yourself, is so personal. You're the only one who has the ability to look at yourself and go on the inside and decide what you want for you and what you can live with and what you can't live with. I have friends that I've seen or I know that have lived with domestic violence for years. There is nothing I can tell them to help them pack out of that marriage. There is nothing their mothers, their fathers, there is nothing anybody can tell you to come out of an abused marriage. In my case, my mom was the big campaigner for me to maintain this toxic relationship. It took my mom such a long time to tell me that, you know what, now it's too much. Especially when my father died and he refused to come to the funeral. My mom said, now, this is now a problem. There are people in your life who are going to encourage you to stay with a toxic person, hoping that things are going to get well. Nobody can love you the way you love yourself. You need to catch yourself. I'm talking about self-love now. You need to catch yourself before your self-esteem goes down. Always catch yourself. Because you know what? Sometimes it's your co-worker. Sometimes it's your supervisor. Sometimes it's your spouse. Sometimes it's your children. Verbal, emotional, physical abuse can come from anybody. When it comes, catch it. People who don't love themselves enough don't know how to love others. How do you expect somebody to give you something that they do not have? Nobody can give you something they don't have. And yesterday, I think it was a few days ago, I was listening to a priest. I found him on a podcast off of California that runs a gang rehabilitation center called Homeboys Industries. And it just gave me a change of heart about people like my brother. He said, we have to love these people because these people cannot help it. Nobody in their right mind wants to harm other people. Nobody in their right mind wants to hit you. They are hurting and they are crying and there is nobody who can love them. And it's something I try to practice with my brother. Every time he came back, even after my green card, I said, you know what, I'll let it go. But he said, these people that abuse you, these friends that gossip you, they are lacking something. Anybody that takes time to do something violent against you, it is not by will. They are lacking something. Because when you have self-love for you, healthy people do not give violence. Healthy people give healthy relationships. Healthy people will make sure before they say something to you, they think about it. And as you can hear my story, I am not a healthy person. So when people come after me, I come after them. Mine is a tit for tat situation. So this is something I am on a new journey to drop the tit for tat, because I've been hurt so much, I cannot be hurt anymore. So I have desensitized. I don't feel anything. I'm like desensitized completely. There's nothing you can do that is going to hurt me more than the things I've been through with my brother. I've been like maxed out. A negative person is going to give negative. A positive person is going to give positive. Okay? People who don't feel loved, people who don't feel cherished, people who don't feel appreciated are likely to be abusers. That's my brother, because every time we fought, he reminded me that, you know what, I'm the one who brought you guys here. Yes, he did not feel appreciated. He did not feel like we were grateful enough. And out of that feeling, he got angry. If you see anybody who fights you, if you see anybody who is hitting you, some of them don't feel appreciated. They want people to appreciate them. Nobody's noticing them. Some of the people that are abusers are strangers to themselves. They don't know themselves. So if I don't know myself, what I like coffee, I like tea. If I don't know myself, how can I give you something I don't know? I have to be able to know what it means to give love, to give love. I have experienced the pain of abuse. Some of the abusers, they've never experienced abuse, so they are doing it. They don't know what it feels to abuse someone. So if you've been abused, you will try not to do it to other people because you know the feeling. Cherish the people that you call your friends and family. Because I've been in a situation where I didn't feel appreciated. And when you don't feel appreciated, you get negative vibes. There are people you've done for things and you feel like, they should have just said even thank you. It's human nature to feel that way. So make people feel appreciated. Anchor yourself with the word of God. Have faith. Keep good, healthy relationships, because everything revolves around good relationships. If you don't have good relationships, you're not going to thrive. Even if you make so much money, you cannot thrive. You need good, healthy relationships. Okay? When you find yourself at the rock bottom, don't stay there. Because if you stay there, in New Jersey, if you fall outside and you fall when there's snow, which is like what makes us fall, if you don't get off the snow, you'll get something called a frostbite. You're going to freeze. You're going to freeze to death. Once you fall outside, even in Kenya, for those of you who are in Kenya, if you fall in where there is a slippery matope, and you stay there, you're going to die there. You have to get up and go home so you can eat. You're going to get up so you can go home before the animals eat you at night. When you fall, you cannot fall and stay there. You have to get up. If you stay there, you will die there. Falling is not the problem. You not getting up is the problem. Because after all these things I've been telling you, I'll always use my brother as a reference. And I hope when he comes by one day, he can talk to me so we can know why they abused for 30 years. What is the problem? When you fall, accept that you have fallen outside. And that's how I started talking on Facebook, because I believe I've been through so many things that I think it's good that I share as a regular person. Falling is not the problem. You have to get up and continue your journey. Because if you're married and you have children, your children are waiting for you to eat. You have to put shelter in your house. Did your team win?
No.
I'm not nursing any wounds. No, it's okay. Put the light. Yeah, that's good.
The other one, this one.
Oh, that's perfect. Oh, I've been in the dark. Guy, I've been talking in the dark. You have to, you see the husband? you have to you have to you have to get up. Now, my last story, I was telling Abu this story because I'm into podcasts. I was listening to this guy. I want to talk about marriage for a minute, that was talking about relationships. And he said that most people go through the relationship where after some time they start taking each other for granted. They don't even care anymore. And he said early in his marriage, he's been married for 28 years or 29 years. Early in his marriage, they used to have major fights with the wife. And then the first year, the wife is from Barcelona. The first year, no, they lived in Barcelona for 1 year and then they moved to America. So their first anniversary, the wife was trying to come up with what they needed to do for their anniversary. He, on the other side, was telling his wife, we don't have a couch. You need to buy a couch. Because they've been in an apartment, and because they had no money, he's thinking, the next amount of money we get, we need to buy a couch. So the wife told him, no. A couch, we'll always buy a couch. He said after having this very heated argument, he decided to give in. Yeah? Kate, how are you? He decided to give in for them to go to the beach. She wanted them to go to a beach nearby and spend the weekend there. And they went there. That's what they did. What he was saying yesterday, he was talking about, in that podcast, he was asking if money can buy happiness. That was the discussion. Because most marriages, you find people fight about money, and before you know it, the relationships are broken because of money. And he said, most people in this world want money, they want pleasure, they want fame, and they want power. People are looking for that. People want people to know them. If you look on social media, everybody is doing their thing, and they look at these things and they think that's it. But then these things, money, pleasure, fame, and power, doesn't bring as much happiness. That's why he used that story. He said that vacation they took at that beach with the wife, 30 years later, he remembers the vacation, or whatever years later he remembers. But he doesn't remember all the couches they have bought over the years. He doesn't even remember the color of the first couch. He said, things will come and pass and go. But memories that you create together as a couple will never just come and go. And he finished his podcast by saying, the things that people need, you need to have faith that things are going to be okay. You have to be faithful. You have to have faith. Okay? You need a good family. Okay? You need a good family, and you have to put that family together. I got chocolate. Good.
This is for the losers.
Yeah.
For the ones who have been talking. You finish that story.
And then you need good friends. Okay? Friends are going to carry you when you're down. Yeah. And then he talked about money. Acquired success. Not money that you inherited from your parents.
I'm talking about the guy who was saying that he's going to, you buy happiness.
Buying happiness.
Yeah, but not buying. It was you use the money to buy memories. Or to spend the money on memories.
You buy memories. You take the money.
Spend the money. And create memories from that.
Because poverty can put you in a situation where you can't really afford anything.
Yeah.
So he was saying that you have to manage, you and your partner, you have to manage the money you have found to create memories together. Mm-hmm. And I was telling Abu the story because I remembered the first vacation that we took.
Did we have couches?
No.
Because I know the story, the one you told me, is that the same one where the guy was trying to buy couches?
Yes.
Yes.
The first vacation.
I don't think we had couches.
No, you don't think. I know. We didn't have couches. We didn't have a bed. we had picked a sofa bed from the trash.
Yes.
Where we were renting an apartment, an empty apartment.
Somebody was throwing away a nice sofa bed.
We went. We picked, and this is after I was thrown out of my brother's house, by the way, in case I didn't tell you that part. I was thrown out like in November. So November, around Thanksgiving, I was at the motel. I stayed in the motel for 2 months, November and December. So come January, I was able to get an apartment. So now that apartment, my boyfriend was with me. They helped me pick that chair from the trash. And we brought it was a sofa bed.
It was not inside the trash. These people put chairs outside. For it to be taken.
I wish I can remember.
Look, it was a nice chair. I think it was just probably somebody who had bought new chairs, and they can't.
They didn't need it.
They put it outside. If nobody picks it up, it goes with the garbage, guys.
So we
picked it up,
and we slept on that sofa bed for 1 year.
Yeah.
But while we were sleeping on that sofa bed, we went on vacation.
There were memories on the sofa bed.
Yes. We went on vacation. We went to Kmart. We bought 2 beach towels, which we still have.
And we went to Oceans.
We drove to Ocean City, Maryland.
And then Virginia.
And we booked a motel. You guys are very lucky now. Nowadays, Abu, imagine.
There's Airbnb.
No. People are booking online.
Yeah.
We drove from New Jersey to Ocean City, and we were looking for motels that say have open vacancy.
Yeah, I mean, that was the way to go. Although some people will call. If you know the place, you'll make a phone call.
But we didn't know that.
You just drive there.
So we drove to Ocean City, and we booked the motel. You know that motel used to give you porn 24 hours. That's like the incentive at adult movies. They used to write outside. It's part of the incentive.
Free adult movies.
Free adult movies. And HBO. We stayed there for 3 nights or 2 nights?
I think 2 nights. And then we went
2 or 3 nights. We got in the car and we drove to Virginia Beach. And we stayed in Virginia Beach for a few days. And that's the first time we tried to eat seafood. We went to eat dinner. And dinner was $24.99. You know that time that was a lot of money.
Well, it was a buffet, all you can eat.
We fought with frogs there. we ate shrimp. We tried everything there. So we were in Virginia Beach for a couple of days. Again, we bought surfing boards. Remember?
Yeah.
We tried to surf. Remember those things?
I remember, yeah.
The first day we went surfing.
It was not a surfboard, it was a toy.
No, it was a
toy surfboard.
It was a boogie board.
No, yeah.
Now we know.
Exactly, yeah.
But it was a surfboard.
That's what we thought.
Boogie board.
We thought you were surfing, but you were not even doing anything.
The first day we went and got those boogie boards, the water hit us so bad. We tried to do what the people were doing. We tried.
Yeah, but that's the memory.
The next day, we couldn't even walk because that thing takes a lot of muscle. Those memories, that's 27 years ago. So we remember that. But the guy said that once you've made money, your own money, learn to buy memories or experiences.
Yes.
Because you can only buy so many shoes. You can only buy so many handbags. You can only buy... So for your relationship to keep thriving, buy experiences out of the home. Invest in
memories. Yes.
For your children, for your spouse. Now they have Airbnb. Yeah. The last place we stayed in Pittsburgh last week was how much? $50?
Yeah.
Or $59?
$69.
$69 a night. That's like nothing. You get a 1-bedroom house, full kitchen and everything. So that way you can create memories together to reduce the amount of time you spend in the house fighting over nothing.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for watching.
Yeah.
Abu did not want to attend the show.
No, I had to watch this game.
You chose the game.
Listen, this month, even ask anybody who's there, I think all the husbands are running away. This month is World Cup. If I could afford, I would have been in Qatar, but I couldn't travel
when
there.
you grow up. When you grow up.
Yeah,
but for me,
World Cup fever.
But for me,
yeah,
I'm actually so passionate about encouraging people, men and women. And I told you it's been 4 weeks.
Especially this topic about domestic violence.
That we've not come here. And, you know, because we learned some of the things me and you have learned the hard way, it's good we share and encourage other people, because life is not easy. It is so hard when you're going through some challenges with your children, with your spouse. And if there's anything we can do to make it easy for you, that's why I'm grateful. And by the way, this is a pastor's son. That's why you see he's well behaved like this. Because his father gave him a good foundation. When you have a good foundation, even if he's even if you go haywire, you come back. That's right. You go out of touch, you come back in line. You're totally in line. Yes.
Yeah. But again, today's topic was very important because domestic violence that's a big issue. Yes, and I think we said yes, we would love to eradicate domestic violence.
In fact, we were talking about that earlier.
As much as people want to eradicate crime, but sometimes those things they may come because of mental issues. And again, I think we said from the beginning of the show, if someone doesn't know how to resolve their issues through negotiation and talking, they may resort to violence. It's just that they need help to either mentally or psychologically to be able to function in life. Yes.
And in every relationship, a lot of people will look at me and you and really admire us. We fight, but we keep it professional. By mouth.
Bring back forth.
No words calling.
Who's losing today?
I was telling my friend, I was fighting my husband here. Remember when we fought about the bed?
Yeah.
Was it a month ago? And I did it here with the children so they can also learn skills of conflict resolution.
Yes, resolution. Yeah.
So you don't hide too much from your children that you don't argue. Your children need to know that.
Yeah. So now this lady, and I know I think you talked about it, the lady in Kentucky, because now I'm seeing the posts going around. Some people are saying the man was Kenyan. Some are saying, because again, it's just a headline. Some people are trying to get a headliner. Kenyan man kills family.
Yeah. Do you know that?
Yes, I saw one. Kenyan man kills family. But also, domestic violence, regardless if it's a Kenyan man or a US man.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. It should not be condoned.
No, I want them to know that we fight, but from day one, because I'm big on words, we keep it, there's no name calling here. We've kept the fights clean and we do fight seriously. And because of my anger issues, I'm quick to walk out of the fight because I don't want to push it to the edge.
Oh my goodness.
And Abu stays calm. Stays calm until I ride the tide. So there's no perfect marriage. Every now and then when you live together, you're going to have conflict with your children. You're going to have conflict with your family members. How you deal with the conflict, which he said, conflict resolution is everything. All right. Guys, have a lovely week. We'll see you guys tomorrow. And thanks for watching and share.
Senegal lost.
I got goody. For refusing to be non-compliant. He was non-compliant. He told me he's not doing the show. He said he can't do the show and Senegal is playing. Me, I was like, hey, sitaki maneno mingi, let me keep lanes. And now I get goody. Cheers, guys. Please, if you're going through any kind of violence, speak to someone. If you need support, let us know. We'll support you where we can. And let us all try to love one another. That's the best way we can make the world a better place so we can leave it better than we found it. Cheers. And please like my page and share this video so more people can learn from regular people, okay? We are not powered by anybody. We're just sharing our life experiences and just trying to educate one person, to inspire one couple that is going through challenges now. And if there's anything we can do to bring people together, that's always our bottom line. Things that bring people together. That's what is going to have good communities, healthy communities. Cheers and have a lovely week.